This is Anti-Pro Alpha Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Joe Markowski of Dazn'S. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Obviously, it's always good to hear that somebody's doing well. I'm interviewing. Obviously, here in sunny LA, even though we're inside, ahead of what has been a controversial fight, to say the least, in and amongst the boxing crowd. KSI versus Logan Paul 2. A little pull of a face there. What was your initial reaction to it when Eddie brought the fight to you?
We were really supportive. We talked about it for the first time about a year ago, once it became clear that the first event in Manchester last year had done so successfully. Listen, I think boxing needs to start framing the view of itself through a different pair of goggles, right? This is going to bring in a whole new crowd of boxing fans, or potential boxing fans. The stitching together of these two worlds, the sort of world championship, purist boxing, Billy Joe Saunders, Devin Haney, with this new YouTube generation, is going to be really interesting. And I think it's one of a load of tactics we're going to employ in the next few years to try and grow the sport of boxing. That's good for the sport of boxing. Candidly, it's good for our business as well. So I think it's the first thing you'll see us do that will engage a new audience in boxing here in the US and in the UK.
Now, I'm sure the numbers for Saturday night will be very, very good. But how are you so sure that whoever tunes in to watch the fight will stay involved with the sport, will want to keep an eye on other fighters away from these social media stars?
Well, that's the responsibility of everyone involved in this fight. Ourselves, from a DAZN perspective, retaining the subscriptions of the new subscribers that we bring in beyond this month. So introducing them consistently in the next 3 or 4 weeks to the AJ Ruiz narrative, to what we do in January, what we do in February, introducing them to Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders this weekend, engaging them in those narratives. It's the responsibility of Eddie to go after these guys, to work with Logan and KSI in the future, to bring them into promotional activity around other major events, but make them ambassadors for the sport of boxing. What I would say, what I'm most impressed by with both Logan and with JJ, is their willingness to take this properly seriously. They've trained like proper professional boxers. No head guards, 10-ounce gloves, proper training camps, proper trainers. And look, they're both saying they want to win and then go on to have more fights. This is JJ's third fight, his first pro fight. It's Logan's second fight. He's already talked about wanting to fight in the UFC and in MMA. He's talking about wanting to fight again in boxing. So collectively, we have a responsibility to sort of almost deliver a legacy to the sport of boxing from this event. And look, probably, to be candid, convince some of the hardcores who don't love this event on paper of its merit and its worth, and why we think it's such a good thing for the sport of boxing long term.
You just mentioned the hardcores there. Do you understand why those fans haven't taken such a keen supporting stance of this fight?
I understand some of them not supporting it, not wanting to watch it, absolutely. What I don't understand is people publicly slating it and slating Eddie and occasionally slating me for making the fight. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's fine. Its core purpose, the main event this weekend, its core purpose is to engage new fans. We do a load of fights every year that engage. Here we go. The hardcores, I blame him. I blame this man. But look, my point is, if you don't love it, don't watch it. Understood? Being honest, it's not primarily served to deliver to hardcore boxing fans. Watch AJ Ruiz, watch Canelo, watch Triple G, watch the dozens and dozens of fights that Eddie and we put on every year that serve the hardcore audience. Acknowledge and understand that it's good for the sport, it's good for your fandom, it's good for the health of the boxers and the health of the sport more generally, to embrace things like this. And I think that's my message to hardcore fans. It's, you don't support it, we understand, but please try and appreciate that the reason the sport needs to embrace these types of things.
Do you think this is kind of, it's not the beginning, but it will be the beginning of sorts to see more fights like this, to see more social media stars or other people from other walks of life getting involved, getting into the boxing ring, which will in itself cause controversy, but I'm sure bring in a new audience as well?
We'll look at it. Well, obviously, we're a data-driven business. We'll look at the data and the numbers from this weekend once they settle next week, and we'll start thinking about that. What I think you'll definitely see us do is try things that are going to grow the sport. This is one tactic in a broader strategy, right? We want to grow the number of people talking about boxing, engaging in boxing. Isn't it fantastic that this beef between these two YouTubers that could have been settled in a paintball arena or in a MMA ring or a cage, they've chosen to settle it in the boxing ring. That's good for boxing. Let's embrace it and enjoy it and use it to grow the sport.
Now you mentioned numbers. I know Eddie's big on numbers himself. What has been, well, I say initial, but how well have the sales done, the PPV, etc.? How well has everything gone up until this point?
From our perspective, I can't speak to Sky. Adam Smith hasn't shown me those numbers for obvious reasons. Our numbers are really strong. We put out 3 or 4 videos with each of the guys on YouTube to promote the fight, our 40 days content. All of those videos trending on YouTube globally and in the US, which is obviously really important for us. The early subscription numbers are tracking to be very, very big. Obviously, Saturday's the key day for us in driving new subscribers. Adam's saying that it's similar for Sky, and I'm hearing that it's similar for Fight TV in the international markets as well. So all numbers considered, I think we're looking at a major event this weekend, and I think all the numbers and the data that Eddie's seeing is similar.
Now, whoever would have picked this fight up, I'm sure everyone will admit it was always going to do big numbers because of who they are. Has there been any pressure on Eddie to deliver a huge show as of yet? What's been DAZN's initial sense of happiness, shall we say, with Eddie and the shows he's delivered as of yet?
Well, I would say Eddie in the broader matchroom business, we've worked with for a long time. We know their business very, very well, and they've always been fantastic partners. Eddie has delivered consistently with that in the last 12 months here in the US. First of all, he's signed some of the biggest names in boxing. He's made some of the biggest fights. He's made them happen in the US, which is very important for us. AJ Ruiz, fantastic night for us. Devin Haney, that signing, huge, and that's legacy building. That's 5-10 years of big fights, world championship level fights with one of the hottest prospects in boxing. Bringing his big names over to the US. I know not all the UK fans love that, but that's important for us in growing our business and growing those guys' brands in such a lucrative market here. So we've got no complaints with how Eddie has behaved as a partner, what he's delivered for us. Frank and Eddie and the whole matchroom team have done a great job for DAZN the last 12 months.
Now, one thing before I do let you shoot off, I just wanted to get your opinion on it. It happened a couple of weeks ago. There was an array of tweets which were all similar, saying how good the DAZN subscription was in comparison to the competitors. I know you know what I'm on about now. What was that about? Because a lot of people kind of suggesting it was driven by people working for DAZN. What do you know anything about it? What's your...
Umar asked me the same question in Vegas last week. I know it's been popping up on social. Candidly, nothing to do with us. I think Raging Babe, she's a, I get this right because I got this wrong last week, she's not a blogger, she's a boxing person of some description. She's a big DAZN fan. She tweeted saying how much she appreciated the DAZN service, how good value she thought it was. She actually got the price slightly wrong. The annual pass, she said it was $120, it's actually $99.99. For some reason, and I don't know why, that same tweet was copied and pasted across 50 or 60 boxing accounts, some fighters, some PBC related bloggers, some matchroom related bloggers and sort of fans. It sort of just sprung organically on Twitter. So yeah, I saw it and I was like asking our social team, is this something that we've done? And it isn't. So I think it's just something that sort of a snowball effect just happened. I think maybe some people might have thought if I post this I'm on some sort of affiliate link, I'm going to get paid by DAZN, which wasn't the case. So that's all I can say about that.
Well, Joe Markowski, I appreciate your time and for clearing a lot of things up. Thanks for speaking to myself and Boxing Social.
Thanks very much. Thanks, guys.